cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
Do you ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
All right, welcome in, football fans, to the View from C-Deck Week 10 preview of college football. And, man, we got a freaking slate coming on this weekend. Lots of good games. Every time slot's got them, too. It's going to be a great day to sit your ass on the couch early November and enjoy some football, especially after last weekend's kind of lackluster schedule. But let's get right to it. And, of course, as always on this Buckeye podcast, we start with Ohio State and Direwolf. What did you see here? Ohio State laying 18.5, over under a 43. What do you see on Saturday?
So I've been on the under all year long, and I'm pretty sure it's only not hit one time, and that was Western Kentucky. That's crazy. It's the under 7-1. So I went right to it, but they've adjusted pretty severely. We're getting like Iowa lows now.
We're not in the 30s yet.
Yeah, quite. But if we keep hitting the under, it'll get there eventually. So I stayed away, and I think we'll cover this because just history. I mean, I think the least we've beaten them by is maybe like 34, 35, something like that in our entire history playing them, and it's only 18.5. Now, this is a different Rutgers team. They're a lot better. They're legitimate. They're already bowl eligible, so it's not the same thing. But I think we caught something with Henderson. I think we're going to get in a groove, and I think we blow them out.
Yeah, this wasn't one of my picks. This is what you picked. This was one of your picks though for them to cover. I think Rutgers covers just barely. This is a great line, just like last week's was with Wisconsin. I think because their defense is pretty legit and it matches up strength for strength with us, unless of course we actually did turn the corner with the running game in Henderson last week, because their run D is just pretty good, but not great. And Henderson is a great back when he gets holes and can get into the open field. He's elite there. So I think Rutgers though keeps it close enough, but I do like the under because both defenses are good. I'm like you. I don't see the Rutgers offense doing much of anything. If they get above 13, I'd be pretty surprised. Or I guess above 14, something crazy could happen near the end. Moving on, Notre Dame at Clemson, also at noon. What looked like a huge game preseason has lost a lot of its luster thanks to Clemson now sitting at 4-4. Dabo, what's going on there, man? It looks like you have finally regressed all the way to being just a middling program back where Clemson belongs, as I put it. Notre Dame 3.5-point favorites, over under 46. I took the under as one of my picks though, because both defenses are very good. It's at Clemson. They've played well at home in a big game against Florida State. This is kind of like their Super Bowl now with what they've done this year. There's nothing else big coming down the way. They're going to be in a middling bowl game, so I feel they get their best effort. But Notre Dame, like both teams, want to run the ball. They want to eat clock, and Notre Dame's going to eat clock, just methodically pound at you. So I think if we stay under 46, I'd like Notre Dame to cover, I guess, but barely.
Yeah, I went right to this one, and I was going to pick it, and then I saw the spread, and I'm like, man, this is tough, because Notre Dame has been kind of up and down all year. They looked great against USC. They could have beat us, obviously. It was down to the wire, but they looked terrible against Louisville, I thought, and they could have lost to Duke as well. Mm-hmm. And Clemson's kind of been the same. They're better at home than they are away, so I stayed away from this one. But if I had to, I think I would actually take Clemson, because I think it's slightly in the ballsy pick territory. You got a 6-2 team, only 3.5-point favorite over a 500 team, but it is Clemson. So
it's Clemson though, so I can see why they didn't get crazy with it. Another noon game and another top 25 matchup. Kansas State traveling to Austin to play Texas. I think I picked this as one of my games. Yeah, I did. I took Kansas State plus the 5, playing against the backup quarterback. The Texas, though, looked pretty good, but BYU's not a great team that they played last week. But Kansas pretty dynamic offensively, thanks to their quarterback. Howard's still rolling around there. Good dual threat quarterback. I think they keep it close enough. I think Texas wins, because I think they're still a playoff team. But I think Kansas State can keep it close even on the road. I don't feel like at Texas hasn't been that big of a home field advantage for them, to be honest, in the past. So I'll take that, but I think Texas wins by like 3.
That one almost did kind of seem ballsy to me. I almost made that one of mine, but I don't think I did, right?
No.
So I would take Kansas State because, I mean, Texas still has their playoff hopes alive, especially that Oklahoma lost. So I do think they win, but in a really tight game.
Right. All right. Now, even though it's a great slate, we have to get a dire wolf delight in here, a piece of shit. Big Ten game. Wisconsin, who we just beat, Ohio State, travels to Bloomington to play on the Big Ten winless Indiana squad, who just gave Penn State quite the game, though, in Happy Valley, because Penn State always has the big hangover, and I can't believe I didn't pick that game last week. I think the big spread scared me too much when it was 32. But you took Indiana plus 9.5 here?
Yes, sir. I thought Wisconsin looked good against us at moments, but then they lost by far their best player. And I don't know if he's going to be active or not, but he's going to be hobbled if he is in there. And then their backup running back was down too. And their quarterback actually looked good, but if they know they can't run it if Allen's not in, I think this is going to be a really tight game. Plus, just like Penn State, teams seem to suck right after we beat them. So all of that in ball gave me
That's true, but Indiana seems to suck right after they put together a good performance.
Yeah.
And Tom Allen's a shitty coach, and I don't trust shitty coaches ever. So I think Wisconsin wins it by 10 near the end of the game, like 24-14 or something stupid like that. Moving on, it's the last Bedlam maybe ever at 3:30, which is just the saddest thing about the realignment is like some of these rivalries being completely lost, and this is one of them. Oklahoma laying 6 on the road, over under of 63. Oklahoma State's tailback has quietly, or not so quietly, ran for like 250 plus and had over 250 plus yards of total offense in the last 3 games each, which is nuts. Some Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas stuff for those cowpokes. Over under 63 is what I'm looking at here in this game. Oklahoma's defense lets them down as they lose last week. They're starting to show cracks against running games, and they're playing the hottest running back in the country, but their offense is good. I'll take the over of 63. I've been loving these Oklahoma overs all year pretty much.
I didn't pick it.
No.
Okay. I thought about it because Oklahoma is they have to win, right? I mean, they can still make the playoff easily. They went out and beat Texas in the Big 12 championship. Or Kansas could make it there. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. But yeah. If I'd stay away from the over-under because I just don't know a whole lot about Oklahoma State. But I think I would pick Oklahoma because it is just 6, and they could win by a touchdown, and I'm good.
Oklahoma State has a chance to. They're only 1 loss in the Big 12 so far, but they have a 29-0 loss at home against Southern Alabama too, which is just kind of crazy when you look at the rest of what they've done the rest of the time. Another 3:30 game. Neither one was picked, but we have to talk about it. Number 1, Georgia hosting number 14, Missouri, who has been a pretty big surprise this year, but they actually are a pretty nice team. It's solid, but not great defense. Very good passing game thanks to Luther Burden III. Georgia just stomped the mud hole in Florida as they have since Kirby Smart has gotten there. Laying 16, though, over under 55. Both are interesting numbers. I think I like the over a little bit because I still think Georgia's passing D overall isn't that great. And Florida's stats, they just made a bunch of stupid decisions and had basically a bad 15-minute stretch there in the second quarter that started with their stupid decision to go for it on 4th down that just put them out of the game. I think Georgia still covers, though, because this is a big one, and I think they're starting to play well. But it's something I stay away from. But I like the over more. I think the over is a really good chance of hitting because Missouri's D on the road has not been particularly good.
Yep, this one, I looked at it, too. There's so many good games.
Yeah.
This almost like, man, Missouri's 7-1 and Georgia's still 16.5-point favorites. The average bettor, I guess, you would think would bet on Missouri, because they're a good team and that's a lot of points. But Georgia's been rolling as of the last 3 weeks when they kind of started out slow at the beginning of the year. So I would take Georgia in this.
Yeah. Okay, now time for us to both smell some ballsy picks. As there are a couple of these lines coming up here. Kansas is fresh off the big win, though, against Oklahoma. First win against a top 10 team at home since the freaking 80s. And now their current coach is only the second Kansas coach ever to have a win against Oklahoma and a win against Texas. So Leopold, he's going to be the hot name now. From now on until he gets moved somewhere else, he will be the hot name. Traveling to Iowa State, though, and they are underdogs against the Cyclone team, who earlier this year looked bad, but they've been hot lately. And they are the favorites, 2.5 now, Casey. Which was 1 when we picked this. And the money's even moving it towards 3 at the moment. It's minus 112. I'll take the Cyclones and the ballsy pick, if only for the ballsy pick. But they have been playing well lately, and Kansas has not been nearly as good away from home as they have been at home.
Yep, this was one of mine too. Going with the ballsy pick, guys. Iowa State. The other thing is Kansas is coming off a huge win. Like they're going to be. We've seen it firsthand coming off of big wins when Ohio State can play down. I'm not saying Kansas is Ohio State's level, but I could see them. I mean, it's at Iowa State too, and they're not a bad team. They've been playing better lately. All those reasons. I mean, this spread should be like Kansas -6 or something like that. You would think. So, balls.
Yeah, or Kansas minus. I mean, just not underdogs. Another 7:30 game. Washington and USC. Now, this one I thought kind of looked like ballsy pick territory, as Washington only, and that's now 4.5, but it was 4 when you picked it. 4-point favorites against USC team that has been struggling and should have lost again last week. Came back from a 2-touchdown deficit late in the game against Cal. Their defense stinks to high heaven. Washington's got one of the 5 best offenses in the country, including the bar none best passing offense in the country. Over under of 76.5. Not one of my picks, but I like the over. What did you pick in this game?
Oh, man, I didn't look at that one. I picked Washington. Yeah, it did kind of scare me. It seemed too good to be true because I think USC is trash. Like they're lucky to even be 500 right now. To be honest with you, they've struggled all year. The only thing is Washington has looked terrible at times this year too. Against
last 2 weeks, yeah, for sure.
So, I don't know. I don't see USC. I mean, Washington might score every single time they get the ball.
They might, but USC will score a lot too. This seems like those Lincoln Riley games. I think the year they had Kyler win the Heisman, when like every game was like 55-50 or 65-51, something stupid. Like it was like that, where they're just like outrageous scores. This just smells like one of those games.
Yeah, and it's just so low of a spread. I just couldn't resist.
Yeah, I mean, I like Washington too, but it wouldn't shock me if USC pulled this one off the way Washington's been playing. But I think a lot of points are going to be scores where I'd put my money if I had to. And then the game of the week. And it has been a huge game for the past 20 years, pretty much. LSU traveling to Bama. Both teams disappointing losses early in the season have made this a little bit, take the shine off a little bit, but they are still stacked. Jayden Daniels still chasing the Heisman. Stats are freaking insane. They're at LSU. They're getting 4 on the road, over under 60. I'll let you go first as you pick this game. We both picked this game, but I'll let you go first on this one.
So, yeah, I was having trouble finding games, but this one I can't bet against Bama. I have before, and it's bit me in the ass. It's a really low spread. It's going to be a good game, but they still have everything in front of them. I mean, this is the only game that I think they have on their schedule that they could lose, other than the SEC championship. So everything's fine. LSU's offense definitely scares me in this game to bite me, but I like Alabama's defense too. So I don't know. It's going to be a battle, but just that Saban edge is what I've got that bet on.
The Saban edge is real. I just don't think Alabama is what they've been. I'm just not seeing it this year with them. Every time I think they're ready to turn the corner, both teams had the bye, so I can't give them the advantage for that. I don't think Tennessee's a particularly good team, and that's probably their best win so far. Well, maybe Ole Miss, but I don't think they're. I mean, I think they're same thing, and they were both at home, but this is at home too. But Jayden Daniels has been the type of quarterback that has given Saban absolute fits over the years. He's given everybody fits. I mean, who's going to stop a true dual threat quarterback like that easily? But they're so high powered on offense. I think LSU gets it done straight up, but I'd take the 4, but that's not what I picked. I picked the over of 60 because LSU's defense is pretty stinky. I think their offense will be able to score, though. Like I said, that Bama's had trouble against quarterbacks like that. I don't think they're going to slow down that offense that much. I think this game ends up in the low 30s, but they clear the 60 pretty easily. I think I would take both. I like both those picks, though, +4 and over 60. I like it. All right. That'll do it for the slate this week, though. But as always, and it becomes more important now, CFP rankings coming out. We have our 4 teams. I guess you had Oklahoma last week, so I'm guessing you're changing that. I'm not changing anybody. I had Oregon, and they look like I think they're the best team in the country right now. I really do. Oregon, Texas, Buckeyes. I'll still keep us going right now. I think we get the revenge in Ann Arbor for the sign stealing, and then the last one I've had. Who have I had? I've had Georgia. I guess I still have to go with Georgia. I guess Florida State I still think is going to lose their somewhere along the way, but it's seeming less and less likely now.
Yeah, leaving the Pac-12 out because I have the whole time just because I think they're going to eat each other up. And I'll just stick with Oklahoma. Screw it. They can still make it. I just don't want to make any changes. Oklahoma, Florida State.
Easy enough. Now, that said, who do you think is the number 1 team for the CFP, and who do you think of these top 5 teams is sitting out on Tuesday night?
So, I truly think we will be number 1, and then Georgia and Michigan will be 2, 3, flip-flop, however. Those are the top 3, no doubt. And then everybody else has a loss, so Florida State has to be 4, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And they beat LSU.
What'd you say?
And they beat LSU.
Yeah. And then 5 is probably going to be, I guess. Well, Washington hasn't lost, right?
No.
So, actually, Washington's 4, Florida State's 5.
I do wonder if they punish Michigan and put them at 5. I do wonder, but I think there's a good chance we're number 1, but I don't think they will because they do so much on eye test stuff. So I do think that it won't be that. I think it'll be kind of mirror the AP. I think Georgia 1, Michigan 2, us 3. I wouldn't be shocked if we swap with Michigan, because I could see Michigan being 5 also do the sign stealing thing, and then wanting to see them prove it that you can do it against a good team without stealing the signs. So I'll say Michigan gets dumped out there to 5, but we'll see. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it'll be fun. I'm not going to watch it live, though, because fuck ESPN. All right. But that'll do it for this week. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you guys next time.
Hey, guys. Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
A rich man's world.